Today's talk is your dream is through the storm. And as always, I have a couple of quotes to begin with. The first one is by Vincent van Gogh. The fishermen know that the sea is dangerous and the storm is terrible, but they have never found these dangers sufficient reason for remaining ashore. And then Ralph Waldo Emerson. The wise man in the storm prays God not for safety from danger, but for deliverance from fear. And so this particular talk was inspired by Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus class, which I am in and which is an amazing class, which we'll be offering again in January. I highly recommend it. It's a very inspiring class. And she spoke about going through the storm, and it inspired me to speak to it because I think it's really important that we understand that there's really no way around it. That to actually have our dreams, the only way is through. That the more we try to travel around, the more we are taken off course. The more we are taken away from what actually matters to us. That if we want that true dream of ours, that yearning that is deep within us, we must face that storm, find our way through it, irregardless of how much fear is raised, and find our way to the shores on the other side. So, and this is what every great person knows, that there's just no way around. Okay, so can you create your dreams easily? Yes. And you might have thought I just said that there's no easy route to your dream. But have you heard the quote, the longest path is the one between your head and your heart? And the thing about this path is your head and your heart disagree a lot. And that's where the storm is. It may seem like the storm is in the conditions out here, but I promise you that any storm you're facing out here started with a seed that was in here. That we have to work with that. And when we do, then out here does become easier. This has been my personal experience in life. That as I have faced and walked through the storms that are within here, out here has become easier, miraculous, amazing, and certainly prosperous and abundant. But it started with me being willing to face and walk through the storm that is within here. So what I'm saying is that, the cause of cancer, loss of job, rape, a child's death, a number of horrible conditions that happen in life, tornadoes, earthquakes, no, I'm not saying that you did that consciously, but on some level, we are creating our world. We are creating the world in which we are walking. And the most important part about looking at that, about facing that storm, and I know that sometimes it's really hard to do that because we can quickly say, because most of the time it feels like blame. And nobody wants to blame the person who's been raped for that rape. Absolutely not. That person was victimized, and I am clear about that. I am also clear that on some level, if to understand the power we are wielding, we must understand we have always been wielding that power. That is the real key to what I am talking about here. If you want to take charge of your life, if you want to understand how to wield the power that to create the dreams of your life, you must start by understanding that you have always been wielding that power since day one. But when we do it unconsciously, it shows up in ways that, can be horrible. When we wield it consciously, it shows up in ways that are miraculous. The fact that we don't understand how we created the horrible things works in the same way that we don't understand how we create the miracles. It's the other side of horrible, the miracles. They're both the same, they're two sides of the same coin. And so this isn't about blaming oneself for the horrible things that happen in your life. It's about taking charge and reminding yourself that you wield the power to make your life miraculous. But you got to be willing to walk through the storms within. And if, like myself, have had horrible things happen in your life, sometimes that can be difficult. When the doctors told me I had 3 days to live, it was very difficult to take that on, and I didn't at the time take that on as I did that. But when I was 6 years ago in a cabin in the woods with no money, no job, just divorced, feeling devastated by life, my initial reaction was not, I'm responsible for this. My initial reaction was, woe is me. I'm in big doo-doo here. But then I took a deeper look, and I realized that if my life was ever going to become the life I wanted it to be, I needed to face that storm within myself. And I did that daily through meditation, through walks, through time with myself, and facing my own demons. Step by step, loving myself, realizing those places in which I didn't love myself. It was not an easy walk from head to heart. My deepest desires are still to this day awashed in my mind, saying things like, be realistic. The good news is I've been doing this now for 6 years. So when my mind does say stuff like, be reasonable, be realistic, what you want to go after here is not realistic. That there's this deeper part of me that goes, wait a minute, I know better than that. I know better than that. I know that there is a greater part of me that wields a power that is miraculous. That my job is to state, this is what I want, to know clearly what I want, and to state it, and to know that I may not know how it's going to show up. There may be lots of storms for me to face on the way to it showing up. But that if I walk through with the confidence of knowing that of course my dream shows up, it will. And it has. My life now is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. Any storm you face, it is completely worth going through it. I have to tell you that everything I have gone through has been absolutely worth it, how my life is now. And that makes it easy to face whatever storms are still to come, so that life does get easier. I do professional film editing, and I am finishing up a job I'm working on just this week, and knew with absolute certainty that the next job would come along. And sure enough, yesterday I got a call on a completely different subject that then led to a discussion where I have been hired to edit a documentary on a subject I am thrilled to be involved with, because the other part about that is when I do my treatment work, my prayer work, it always includes me being excited about the work that I do. Not just that I get work and I make all this money, but that I am excited about the work that I do. And sure enough, there it was, out of the blue. I didn't know that call was coming. I didn't make a bunch of calls trying to scramble for work. I knew that call was coming. I knew that sooner or later, that work would show up for me in a timely manner. And it showed up before my current job is over. And that's what's possible when you embody and sit in the knowing and have the confidence of walking through whatever storm is before you. And then it is easy. It actually is easy. Dr. Holmes tells us the possibility of demonstrating does not depend upon environment, condition, location, personality, or opportunity. It doesn't depend on anything except our ability to stand in the truth. And Dr. Holmes goes on to say, no matter how tough the circumstance or condition, we can always bring ourselves to a greater vision. For to desert the truth in our hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. So our job here, the tough job, is to know the truth. And the more I know the truth, the more I do the tough work in here, the easier it is getting out here. And that is what's possible for you too. The more you do the tough job of making the journey from heart to head, from head to heart, however you want to walk it, or join in the middle, when that line is connected and those two things meet and you stand in the truth, life is brilliant. Life is magnificent. I am just astounded at the magnificence of my life. My health, my abundance is far beyond my expectations and continues to grow in ways that I can't even imagine. I have walked the tough walk, so I sit here before you not talking theory. I sit here before you talking what I have accomplished, and in so doing, know that you can too. You can walk this tough walk. Face your fear. Go through the storm. No matter what the circumstances, remember that you are the power. You are the power. No one else. You. And you have the ability to create this any way you want. I love you. Thank you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.